The nice guy problem is well known. A man who is kind, considerate, and emotionally available, yet constantly overlooked in favor of men who seem colder, bolder, and more dominant. These nice guys often express frustration that their decency is ignored, and that women seem to prefer arrogance or indifference. But perhaps the problem isn't that women don't want kindness, it's that they don't want passivity disguised as kindness. Enter Friedrich Nietzsche, the German philosopher best known for his critiques of morality, religion, and conformity. Nietzsche had no patience for weakness, moral or emotional. His writing on love, power, gender, and individuality offers an uncomfortable mirror to modern dating. Nietzsche didn't believe men should aim to be liked. He believed they should aim to be strong, free, and worthy. His advice to men in love is nothing short of brutal. Never love like a woman, never lose yourself, and never confuse niceness with value. This video unpacks Nietzsche's views on masculinity, relationships, and desire. It explores what modern science says about female attraction, how Nietzsche would diagnose the nice guy, and what it means to love without becoming a slave. Ultimately, it argues that Nietzsche's harsh advice offers a path, not to cruelty, but to dignity, strength, and genuine selfhood. Why nice guys finish last? Modern research shows that women claim to prefer kind, empathetic partners, but dating data paints a messier picture. In short-term contexts, women are often more drawn to dominant, assertive men, even those who display some narcissistic or Machiavellian traits. This has given rise to the trope that nice guys finish last, while jerks win the girl. But the issue isn't that women dislike kindness. The problem is that many nice guys are not just kind, they are needy, overly available, and lacking in sexual polarity. Niceness, without backbone, often signals low confidence. Studies in evolutionary psychology suggest that women are drawn to confidence, competence, and the ability to lead and protect. A man who is overly eager to please may appear less desirable, not because women are cruel, but because they sense a lack of agency and strength. In this light, Nietzsche's critiques of weakness take on new meaning. What we call niceness, Nietzsche might call cowardice. A man who suppresses his own needs to serve another blindly is not virtuous, he is self-erasing. For Nietzsche, this is not love, it is servitude. Nietzsche on masculine and feminine love. Nietzsche drew a sharp line between male and female modes of love. In his view, women love by surrendering themselves, by devoting body and soul to another. Men, however, must never love in the same way. A man who gives himself fully becomes enslaved to that love. He loses himself. In The Gay Science, aphorism 363, Nietzsche writes, "A man who loves like a woman becomes a slave. A woman, however, becomes more of a woman through love." He believed the feminine style of self-sacrifice and devotion was authentic to women but ruinous for men. When a man gives himself away, he loses his will, his freedom. To Nietzsche, love must not compromise the self. A man must maintain his independence, his mission, his inner fire. Love can be part of life, but it must never consume the core of one's being. A nice guy who orbits a woman's every whim is not loving, he is diminishing himself. Nietzsche would see this as a betrayal of masculine potential. Women, power, and the eternal feminine. Nietzsche was fascinated and often troubled by feminine power. He believed that women possessed instinctual cunning, emotional intelligence, and the ability to influence without direct confrontation. He saw women as powerful not in spite of their differences from men, but because of them. This idea links to the eternal feminine, a term borrowed and redefined by Nietzsche to reflect the enigmatic, sensual, and instinct-driven qualities of womanhood. He saw modern efforts to make women more rational, more masculine, or more morally equal as a threat to their natural strength. In trying to become like men, women risk losing the subtle dominance they once held. Nice guys often fail to recognize this polarity. They treat women as moral equals to be placated or impressed, not as beings with their own erotic and instinctual drives. This erases the dynamic tension that fuels attraction. Nietzsche's view was harsh. Women don't want to be revered by compliant servants. They want to be matched, challenged, even overwhelmed by a worthy force. Nietzsche's take on marriage and relationships. Nietzsche didn't believe in romantic illusions. He saw most marriages as traps that dulled the spirit. But he did offer surprisingly practical advice. Don't marry for lust or convenience. Marry someone with whom you can have great conversations for decades. He asked, "Do you believe you will be able to converse well with this woman into your old age? If not," he warned, "do not marry her. Passion fades, looks fade. Only mutual respect, shared values, and intellectual compatibility endure. And none of this is possible if a man loses himself to the woman he loves." For Nietzsche, the ideal partnership is one where both people remain sovereign. A man must have a mission beyond the relationship. He must elevate himself, and, ideally, elevate his partner too. A man who molds himself to please a woman is no longer a creator. He's a follower. Nice guys versus master morality men. One of Nietzsche's most powerful frameworks is the concept of master versus slave morality. Master morality values strength, creativity, and self-affirmation. Slave morality values humility, obedience, and guilt. The nice guy is often a slave morality man. He seeks approval, avoids conflict, and suppresses desire in favor of moral performance. In contrast, a master morality man doesn't seek permission. He acts, he builds, he seduces through presence, not performance. He is not nice, he is just. He is capable of kindness, but not at the cost of his power. In this framework, Nietzsche's brutal advice becomes clear. Don't be a slave to morality or to love. Cultivate strength. Don't be agreeable. Be authentic. Women may appreciate a nice guy, but they desire a man who can lead, decide, and stand alone. Was Nietzsche a misogynist? It's impossible to read Nietzsche on women without confronting controversy. He once said, "Are you going to women? Do not forget the whip." A quote often cited as proof of misogyny. But Nietzsche was not writing instruction manuals, he was provoking. He used irony, aphorism, and contradiction to challenge moral and cultural assumptions. He criticized feminism for trying to make women more like men, which he saw as a loss of feminine strength. He warned that the modern woman, in seeking equality, might lose her instinctual gifts, grace, charm, emotional insight. His critiques were not based in hatred, but in a desire to preserve what he saw as essential truths. That said, Nietzsche was a product of his time. He often reduced women to symbols or functions in his philosophy. But buried beneath the rhetoric is a recognition of female power, and a warning to men: don't try to be loved like a woman. Don't act like a moral pet. Become worthy, or become irrelevant. Nietzsche's brutal advice reframed. What does all this mean in practice? First, it means rejecting the nice guy mindset. Don't try to earn love through obedience or emotional overexposure. Be kind, but never at the cost of self-respect. Second, develop purpose. Nietzsche's ideal man is a creator. Someone with goals, ideas, values. Women are drawn to men who are going somewhere, not waiting to be chosen. Third, cultivate tension. Don't reveal everything. Don't chase validation. Desire is born from polarity, not comfort. And finally, lead. In love, as in life, assume responsibility. Make decisions, set boundaries, show strength, not force but inner direction. That's the man Nietzsche respects. That's the man who doesn't finish last. Conclusion. Nietzsche's advice for men is hard to hear. It cuts against every cultural script that says being good will bring reward. It challenges the belief that niceness is enough. But Nietzsche never cared about comfort. He cared about truth. His writing tells men to stop groveling, stop pretending, and start living from strength. Nice guys lose not because they're decent, but because they've made decency their only identity. Women don't want jerks, but they don't want doormats either. They want men of substance, direction, and sovereignty. To win in love, Nietzsche would say, you must first win in life. Be more than agreeable. Be strong, be whole, and above all, be yourself.